guys, how's it going? So 2 things today. The first thing I'm really excited about, we are going to move a bird bath that we have behind our barn to an area closer by our bird feeders. So we had the one, I can't remember what it's called, it's from Henry's studio. It's a fairly good sized bird feeder. We had it behind the gazebo. We moved it out in preparation for the Hartley being put in. And now that that's in and everything's kind of settled, I'm ready to find a new spot for it. I have a bird bath heater right here so that it won't freeze. So Aaron is going to come out and help me get that all set up. And then we are going to tackle the kitchen window box area because it is so sad right now. Look at this area. It's tidy-ish. I've got some shoes I need to clean and put away. But we need some holiday stuff right here, some holiday cheer, because this is the door we use the most often. You can see I've got a heated pet bowl. I keep that full of water for the kitties when they're outside. There's Cheddar right there. Because I just want to make sure they've got water everywhere. And you know, this area has been through the ringer this year. You know, it was concrete that led straight up to this little landing thing. And when they cut the concrete out, it broke a piece of the concrete over here and here. And we had a heck of a time trying to find anybody to come patch concrete this summer because everybody was so busy. So Paul decided in the meantime, he would just lay a little paver patio so that it wasn't a mud hole all winter long, which was so awesome. He did a great job. He just did this last week. I mean, it was like the little plastic, you know, barrier edging on the bricks here, and then it just went down into like gravel and dirt in this section. And we walk through this all the time. So now we can walk with ease. We weren't too stressed about the area because we are planning a project where we do a wraparound porch. That whole spot's going to be covered. So we weren't, you know, too stressed, and we'll probably just keep the pavers there until we do that because they look better than concrete. They look prettier than concrete anyway. So the porch, when we do that, will actually come out further than these beams just a little bit. We're thinking of possibly adding on, I don't know, who knows. But the thing is that this will all be covered because we're going to bring the deck, the patio deck, up to this spot right here, kind of where the siding ends, and then that's concrete right down there. So all of this you won't even see, including that step, and it'll start about here. Either way, that's neither here nor there for today. Right now, we just need to get some garland around that door, get some greens in that box. I did make a wreath the other night, so I've got that all done. And we are gonna be using a lot of leftover stuff. I ended up doing 2 great big containers down at the church when I decorated. I hadn't planned on doing that. And those pots are huge. It takes a lot of supply. So anyway, a lot of the stuff I had left over went down there. I do have some noble fir though. I've got the bottom of the Hartley Christmas tree still. We'll use some boughs off of that. I've got dried oranges left over from the Hartley tree. That would be kind of a pretty pop of color. I also have some cranberries that I bought for the Hartley tree, didn't use them. Maybe we could string those up and incorporate them somehow. The wreath I made though is very like just natural greens and oranges and rose hips, so it'd be a really pretty mix of color. Before we do that, I'm heading back behind the barn. I kind of want to get the bird bath set up first, and then we'll let Aaron know we're ready as soon as I find it. Oh my goodness, you guys, all these evergreens back here, the new ones from this year, magical with snow, just amazing. Easy, easy, it's right accessible right here.
It's all dirty right there.
All right, so we've got it placed. I think it's going to be perfect here. This is not where I want to keep it forever, I don't think. The flower bed kind of comes, you can kind of see I think you can see the indentation, and it comes around this way right here. It's likely we're going to have a walkway going to our table and chairs over there, which I desperately need to cover. We need to clean those off and cover it. But either way, this is close to our frost-free water faucet and a plug-in. And here comes Aaron with an extension cord. There's a bit of ice at the bottom of this bird bath already, but I'm hoping that this melts it pretty quick. And then we can get some, maybe we'll top it up right now.
Now, can you explain to me why there's a frost-free and power right here?
Because you're a genius. You just need to hear those words today.
Yes.
That
It was deliberate.
was a genius move for sure. Okay, so this one I just ordered on Amazon. It was like a recommended bestseller one. I couldn't find mine. The one I have is like a circle. It's like a little disc. It'll turn up at some point, but
Can you
either
put
way,
more water in it to where it might
I think
help?
so. I think that's a good idea. I
Yeah.
don't need to go get a water can. All right, bird bath has been filled, and this was already starting to work. So we plugged this in and set it on top of the ice. I ran inside to get a bucket full of warm water just to kind of help the process out. And this was already starting to melt that layer of ice. So that's really promising. So Aaron has set up a couple of cameras, and I filled up the bird feeders. So maybe they'll discover this today, and we'll be able to see a little bit of them using it. That would be really sweet. Now that that's done, we're going to tackle the kitchen entrance area. I'm going to gather up a few more supplies. I don't have to run any errands for supplies today, which is great. We're just going to use the things that we have here and or leftover supplies from projects like this one or the balcony garland project up there. I always overshoot a little bit because I'd rather have a little bit too much and not have to run back to the store for more. So I usually end up with a small pile of things in the very end that we can do, you know, smaller projects like this. One window box doesn't take up an enormous amount of supplies. It's when I have projects like the big pots along the east fence line, I have to plan for stuff like that because it takes a lot of supplies. So anyway, let's get this area done. Then we'll take a look, have a little tour in the end. Almost done. I'm so excited about this window box. I think it's turning out so cute, but I ran out of dehydrated oranges, so I'm gonna have to go dry some more here this afternoon. It takes several hours though, so I won't be able to finish this until tomorrow. So hopefully I'll finish it and then we'll have some end shots for you later, but I just wanted to show you where we're at right now because other than the dried oranges, I think it's done. Look at how cute. And it has almost like a country feel to it to me, but I'm loving it. I mean, the wreath I made the other night. So my parents, after their last wreath making seminar, we did an after hours party where we locked all the doors. The whole family came over and we had pizza, made wreaths. It was a really fun time. So I made one for myself for this door. And then I made one that was very similar for my parents' potting shed door. It was just so fun. And I used noble fir, princess pine. There's some incense cedar, rose hips. I brought rose hips down with me, as well as some bundles of cinnamon and dehydrated oranges. And those are hot glued in, just the oranges and the cinnamon. Everything else is attached to the wreath form with wire. I attempted to make a video of that for you guys, but I didn't realize that the floor over there, I mean, it's over 100 years old, and there was a lot of people walking on it, and the camera just kept shaking. So all the footage is really shaky, but I have made wreaths for you in the past. Anyway, super happy with how it turned out. And then the one garland, the pre-made one, there's Benjamin inside. Oh, so that one I think is $14.99 at Home Depot. And usually I cut them, like I'll run it to where the greens are all facing one direction. They're all facing kind of down, and I cut it and then I run it the opposite direction so it doesn't look like a mess. But this one's kind of a little bit of a mess all the way around. So I just left it. And it looks nice. It looks nice just to have something green around the door. And then the window box is really just so much fun. So the thing I want to do with dehydrated oranges, I need to make one more swoop. I'm going to start another swoop of oranges about here, and I'll swoop it kind of behind this gourd here, and I'll run it over to the other side so that there's two swoops of oranges down here instead of just the one. And then I use these little gold-leafed gourds. So I gathered these gourds out of my parents' orchard like several years ago, and then I gold-leafed them maybe a couple years ago, and I've been using them over the past couple of years. Last year, these were on the little trees on our mantle. The year before, they were on our front porch living. I had a blue spruce up there that we had planted out in the garden now, and I used these as ornaments. And now they're tucked into the corner of this window box. They're tucked into the center, and there's one here. I'm going to make a bunch more of those too, so that I have groupings of probably 3 and 5. I'll do 5 in the center and 3 on the outer part. But the rest of this, I had some noble fir at the bottom of a box, so I did not have to cut apart the base of our Christmas tree. I'll use that for another project. I made a back layer of that, and then this is bunnytails grass out of our cut flower garden, not from this year, but from last year. And I've had it just sitting in our studio, just in a kind of a bucket, but it was a pretty bucket, so it looked like a vase full of these beautiful dried grasses. And I just put little bundles. So there's a bundle here, bundle there, and I just tucked them in right in front of the fir, not spruce. And then I did have a small handful of these cedar branches. I had to dig them out of the box that was full of snow, and then seeded eucalyptus. And that's one that I have had quite a bit left of. That was my most abundant resource when going into this project. I had one bundle of rose hips left, and boy, did they stretch. I thought that I was going to have kind of a meager showing of red in there, and I was going to have to incorporate some cranberries, but nope. They just stretched and did beautiful. I also tucked a few oranges into the arrangement, and hopefully you saw in the video, I tucked a piece of wire in around the rind of the orange, or the peel of the orange, and then the wire is like this long, and then it attaches to a little stick. And then I just pushed it down in the soil, so they shouldn't go anywhere. And then I brought a chair over because, we take our shoes on and off right by this back door, and we don't really have a spot to do that at the moment. And grabbed a couple of pillows. Not super coordinated with the blue cushion and everything, but who cares? That's what I had out here. And this project was all about using what I had on hand. Here's a bit of a backed up view. Now, I did not incorporate any lights into this arrangement, and I was thinking about it. I was thinking about tucking some in around this garland, but there's a tremendous amount of lights around this house. All the columns are wrapped. There's icicles right there. There's real icicles up top. Look at that. My goodness gracious. So I didn't really feel like I needed to add more light because it really is really bright in the evening. So other than the oranges, this project is complete, and I'm really just loving it. It really just added a lot of color and a lot of warmth to this area. And because we use it the most, I really should pay more attention to this entrance. I don't know why I don't. Maybe it's because, when you've got that door that you always go through, it's where all of your shoes and your junk and stuff ends up. When the garbage starts to stink, we put it outside this door until we have a chance to take it out. And so we always have like a pile of stuff around this door. This is rare, this site right here. So I'm soaking it in. I just have the mat by the door. I did move the heated water dish for the cats out to the greenhouse because when they're outside, that's where they go and they sleep in there. So I figured why not not use any power and just set it out there and it'll stay thawed out and nice for them all the time. And we check plants for water every day, so we'll be able to fill it up without even thinking about it. And it gets that bright blue bowl away from this entrance. I got the whole thing done and all I could see was that bowl still underneath the chair. It's totally distracting my eye. So anyway, that is it for today's projects. I hope the birds have been visiting the bird bath. It might take a day or two. Sometimes it does. Even with bird feeders, sometimes it can take several days until they figure out where the source is at. So anyway, I do hope to get some pictures of this once it's all done so you can see it completed, but at least you know the direction I'm taking it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye. And here it is all done. Dried more oranges last night, added some more gourds. In fact, I think I'm going to try to gather some seeds. I have one gourd that was kind of cracked open, and there are seeds in there. I'm going to try to grow them this next year because they are so cute. But it's just so bright and festive. Loving how it came together.